The number of people known to have been killed in a deadly police raid in the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday has risen to 132, officials say. This is more than double the figure cited after the police operation in the favelas of Alemão and Penha, in the north of Rio de Janeiro, on Tuesday. The police raid was the deadliest in the city, where authorities have for decades tried to contain the gangs which control many of its poorer neighborhoods. Sked about the figure given by the Public Defender's Office, Rio State Governor Cláudio Castro said that forensic work was still underway and that until it had concluded, the official figure which he had been given was of 58 dead, although it was certain to change. Among those expressing shock about the death toll was Brazil's president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Even before the number of dead had more than doubled, the United Nations Human Rights Office had said it was horrified by the police operation. Early on Wednesday, residents took the bodies of those killed into a square in Penha, where they placed them next to each other in a long line to show the deadly nature of the raid. According to Brazilian media, estimates varied between at least 50 and more than 70 bodies. Many of the bodies had reportedly been retrieved from a nearby hillside, where police said most of the deadly clashes had unfolded. Challenged by journalists about earlier remarks he had made describing those killed as criminals, Governor Castro replied, "To be quite honest with you, the conflict wasn't in a built-up area, it was all in the woods. So I don't believe anyone was just strolling in the woods on a day of conflict. And that's why we can easily classify them." Residents described the scenes unfolding on Tuesday as warlike, with shootouts between officers and armed men, with buses set on fire to create barricades. According to the police, gang members also used drones to drop explosives on the officers as they fanned out through the neighborhoods, which are strongholds of the Red Command. This is how the Rio police are treated by criminals, with bombs dropped by drones. This is the scale of the challenge we face. This is not ordinary crime, but narco-terrorism, Governor Castro said. Governor Castro said that the raid had been 2 months in the planning and was based on a thorough investigation. Among those arrested is a man accused of being a leading drug dealer for the Red Command. The governor also posted photos on social media of the 4 police officers who were killed in the operation. He praised the officers killed on what he called a historic day, in which he said they confronted organized crime. Rafael Soares, a Brazilian journalist covering crime in Rio, told BBC News Brazil that the Red Command had been on the offensive in Rio in recent years, reclaiming territory it had lost to its rivals, First Capital Command, PCC. Soares added that the police operation was part of Governor Castro's efforts to leave his mark and deal a decisive blow to crime in the city ahead of elections next year. Huge police raids are not unusual in Rio, but the number of fatalities in Tuesday's operation is. According to Soares, police operations in which more than 20 people are killed are very rare across Brazil, and those that do occur have mainly happened in Rio. Rio de Janeiro's Minister for Public Security, Victor Santos, said that 280,000 people lived in the areas where the raids took place. Police footage showed heavily armed officers patrolling the narrow, steep lanes of the densely populated hillside favelas. This is a war we are seeing in Rio de Janeiro. Decades of inaction by all the institutions, municipal, state and federal, have allowed crime to expand in our territory, Santos said. He says that Tuesday night, local residents began to search the hillside which divides Penha from the nearby Alemão neighborhood for relatives who had been missing since the police raid. Residents of the Penha neighborhood proceeded to place the recovered bodies in a square, and Idan's photos show the reaction of the people there. The brutality of it all impacted me a lot. The sorrow of the families, mothers fainting, pregnant wives, crying, outraged parents, the photographer recalled. The governor of Rio State said that the massive police operation involving around 2,500 security personnel was aimed at stopping a criminal group known as Comando Vermelho, Red Command, from expanding its territory. Initially, the Rio State government maintained that 60 suspects and 4 police officers had been killed in the operation. They have since said that their preliminary count shows that 117 suspects have been killed. Rio's Public Defender's Office, which provides legal assistance to the poor, has put the total number of people killed at 132. According to researchers, Red Command is the only criminal group which in recent years has managed to make territorial gains in the state of Rio de Janeiro. It is widely considered one of the two largest gangs in the country, alongside First Capital Command, PCC, and has a history dating back more than 50 years. Red Command operates like a franchise, with local criminal leaders forming part of the gang and becoming business partners, a reporter said. The gang engages primarily in drug trafficking, but also smuggles guns, gold, fuel, alcohol, and tobacco. According to the authorities, gang members are well armed, and police said that during the raid, they came under attack from explosive-laden drones. The governor of Rio State, Claudio Castro, described Red Command members as narco-terrorists and called the 4 police officers killed in the raid heroes. But the number of people killed in the operation has come in for criticism, with the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights saying it was horrified. At a news conference on Wednesday, Governor Castro defended the police force. "It wasn't our intention to kill anyone. We wanted to arrest them all alive," he said. He added that the situation had escalated because the suspects had retaliated. It was a consequence of the retaliation they carried out and the disproportionate use of force by those criminals. The governor also said that the bodies displayed by locals in Peña had been manipulated. Supreme Court Justice Alexander de Moraes has summoned Governor Castro to a hearing on Monday to explain the police actions in detail.